far, we mapped the type of new product development projects and the organizations performing these projects. In this section, we will add the dimension of time to the mapping process. The two important issues related to time are, one, when to introduce a new product, process, or service to the market, and two, when to introduce changes and what is the right magnitude of change in an existing product, process, or service. Based on these two decisions, a due date for the new product development project is set, and the organization can then try to estimate the cost of delays. The S-curve is a special form of mapping new product development projects along a timeline. The S-curve shows the market acceptance of a new product or service and the impact of a continuous as well as a breakthrough innovation during life cycle of the product or service. For many consumer products, the growth in sales over time is slow in the beginning when a new invention is introduced to a blue ocean market, fast in the middle, and slowing down again at the end of the product's life cycle, when the market is turning into a saturated red ocean. This pattern is known as the S-curve. Assuming that the S-curve is applicable to future products, the rate of growth in sales can tell us where the product is with respect to the timeline of its life cycle. The S-curve adds the time dimension to the mapping that supports new product development strategy. The S-curve is related to the chasm effect that we discussed earlier. If we assume a normal distribution of customers, the early adopters are those who are interested in a product performances and are buying the new product or service first. They represent about 10 to 15% of the total market. The chasm is the barrier between early adopters and the rest of the market, where the majority of the market that represents 60 to 70% of the market is. When the competition gets in and the market for the product or service becomes a red ocean, competition is no longer based on performance, but mainly on price. Timing is very important in new product development process. The question of when to use continuous improvement and when to switch to breakthrough or creative thinking is a major factor influencing the success of the innovation process. The strategy of combining continuous improvement and breakthrough innovation is a winning strategy that is hard to implement, as the exact shape of the S-curve is hard to forecast and the future moves of competition are even harder to predict. An example of this is the Boeing company strategy of riding the S-curve of passenger airplanes. Boeing started as a manufacturer of furniture that used existing technology. Airplanes were made of wood, linen, and wire bracing at that time to enter the new airplane market in 1915. Initially, Boeing modified the design of existing airplanes of other manufacturers. The first breakthrough in technology took place 10 years later in 1925 when arc welding tube bracing was introduced, and again in 1930 when an all-metal construction was adopted. Continuous improvement in the all-metal constructed airplanes resulted in several models using the same technology but aiming at different market segments. Many of these models were based on the same platform, as each customer could configure the airplanes according to its needs. This continuous innovation was followed by a breakthrough, the introduction of composite materials in the late 50s. All-metal construction was continuously improved, and a very large number of models based on few platforms helped Boeing in its local strategy. The introduction of composite materials was an opportunity for breakthrough innovation. The use of composite materials grew steadily by continuous innovation till the 21st century, with continuous improvement in engine technology and avionics, and the introduction of several platforms, each of which was a basis for several models aiming at different market segments. Currently, mostly composite materials are used in the Dreamliner, along with new information technology. The Dreamliner is the current state-of-the-art product by Boeing. Based on past strategy, we can expect that the initial design of this airplane will serve as a platform, manufactured for many years with continuous improvement in materials, avionics, and information technology for different markets. It will take years till the next breakthrough in airplane technology, and in the meantime, incremental changes based on the feedback from customers and the development of improved technologies will be implemented to ensure the long-term competitiveness of this airplane. It is interesting that the development of the Dreamliner from the go decision at the end of the uncertain front end till full production took about 10 years. That means that forecasts of customers' needs and expectations, as well as technological forecasts regarding new technologies and analysis of competitive effort, had to look 10 years or more into the future. Manabu Shano from the Institute of Management Tokyo, Japan, suggested a model that integrates several S-curves and can be used for managing the timing of innovation activities. His model is demonstrated by the example of the Walkman that Sony developed in the late 70s and sold for 20 years till the end of the 90s. The basic idea is to make continuous or sustaining innovation with disruptive or breakthrough innovation, in such a way that an aggregate curve with a linear shape spanning over a very long period of growth will emerge. Two products precede the Walkman: reel-to-reel records and tape cassettes players. The Sony Walkman integrated technologies used by these products and developed the Walkman that, after 20 years, was replaced by the iPod. The aggregate S-curve starts the product lifecycle with the development of primary functions. Gradually, functionality is added to the product. In later stages, innovation leads to switching from primary functions in order to maximize efficiency and reliability. And finally, the focus moves to cost reduction. This model is in line with the spiral development model presented as one of the critical success factors earlier. The S-curve template is illustrated by the Sony Walkman example. Starting in 1979 with the idea of a portable personal music device, the Walkman continuously improved its functionality in several dimensions. One dimension of improvement is the portability, measured by the weight of the Walkman. The initial weight was 390 grams in 1979 model, and it was reduced to 280 grams, then to 180 and finally to 165 grams with continuously improved functionality. A second dimension of improvement was the battery capacity and energy efficiency. Measured by the number of hours the Walkman operates without battery replacement. An increase from 2.5 hours in 79 with dry cells battery to 100 hours with rechargeable batteries in the late 90s. Finally, the cost of the Walkman changed from 33,000 yen in 1979 to 13,000 yen in the 90s. This cost reduction, coupled with better functionality, lower weight, and better energy efficiency, helped Sony dominate the market till the next breakthrough innovation, the Apple's iPod. The S-curve model is a conceptual model that shows how breakthrough innovation and continuous improvement can be used as a strategy. It is a tool for portfolio management that can help in the two major decisions related to time. First, deciding when to introduce breakthrough or disruptive changes. Second, deciding when to introduce continuous or evolutionary changes. Proper use of the S-curve model is essential for timing and synchronizing new product development projects.